Today in our Moravian text reading, Luke 13:31 through to 14 verse 6, there's a definite sense here that things are hotting up for Jesus. Conflict is increasing. Jesus is heading to the cross. What I love about this passage is that the Pharisees are warning Jesus that if he keeps doing what he's doing, healing and preaching, he'll end up dead. as if Herod could take Jesus' life from him. Rather, Jesus' goal is to die. That's his aim. And it shows us that Jesus is totally in control. He knows from the scriptures that he has to die. He knows from the scriptures that no prophet can die outside Jerusalem. So he's not intimidated by the Pharisees or by King Herod's threats. He's in control. And there is something incredibly liberating, incredibly freeing for us today when we know what God has called us to, the goal, and we know what the scriptures say about us, God's promises. It frees us from fear, especially the fear of death, because we know that nothing and no one can stand against us and thwart God's purpose for our lives. So back to the passage. Some of the Pharisees, they say to Jesus, "Jesus, you better leave here and hide or Herod will kill you." Now this is not them being nice and helpful, I don't think. "Jesus, we love you, we're concerned for you, you better stop what you're doing." No, this is a threat. And we might say it's passive aggressive. And for us, when we are really pursuing God's call, his purpose for our lives, you bet the devil will try and use people to block you and intimidate you to hold you back. Sometimes he'll use people who look like Herod, those who wield ungodly power, foxes that are sly and destructive. At other times, they might sound friendly, like it's out of concern for you. "Oh, I love you. I don't want you getting too involved with that church. Don't be giving too much of your time or your money away. Be sensible, be moderate." It sounds so plausible and loving. Well, hopefully we, like Jesus, can see right through that. And then Jesus says these words, verse 32, "On the third day I will reach my goal." Undoubtedly, Jesus is talking prophetically here. And the thing is, with prophecy, it's a little bit like tiramisu or lasagna. It's a many-layered, multi-layered thing. Sorry. But on one level, Jesus simply means that he's going to keep on doing what God has called him to do, and then in a few days' time, he will arrive in Jerusalem, where he knows he'll be killed. But then on a deeper level, Jesus is using this idea of the third day to speak not only of his death, but of his resurrection. That's the goal. On the third day, he truly achieved his goal, the redemption of our souls, a people for himself, through his death and resurrection. And you might want to look into the sign of Jonah, 3 days in the belly of the whale, if you want to take that further, how that was a prophetic picture of this. Then in 34, verse 34, we see Jesus' heart for Jerusalem, his love for the people of Jerusalem. And this is Jesus the pre-existent one, Jesus the eternal one, lamenting, crying, weeping for a people whom he had tried to draw to himself again and again for thousands of years through many, many prophets, a rebellious people who simply would not listen and repent. And finally, as we move into chapter 14, what I find sad about this passage is that the Pharisees have now given up on trying to engage with Jesus. They've realised they can't beat him or win him in an argument. They've realised he's not going to agree with them or affirm them. So now they simply remain silent. We might call it today ghosting. And that is a very dangerous place to be, both relationally with others, where we sort of give up on it and we give them the silent treatment, but also with Jesus. We can be like that with Jesus, where we find we go quiet towards him, silent towards him, perhaps because it's easier to be silent towards him than engage with him and have our attitudes of heart exposed. So we opt for indifference. That's a challenging thought, isn't it? So let me bring us back to the good news of verse 34. If you have been silent towards him, ghosting him, indifferent to him, then I want you to know this today. He longs to gather you into his arms as a hen gathers her chicks. That's his desire. So draw close to him and let him embrace you today.